Welcome, everybody. You're tuned in to Real Talk with Yogi Ji. Let's welcome Yogi Ji into our wonderful space. Sat Kartar, Yogi Ji.
Kartar.
Just a reminder to everybody who's watching and listening, please send us your questions. If you've got any concerns, anything you want to discuss, anything you need advice with, this is a space that we can help and support you to do that. We are going to be taking a lot of the questions from the Sangat. That's what's curating the next few episodes for us because there's a lot of questions that have come in. Send your questions over to info@yogiofsound.com. Today, Yogi Ji, our questions are about love. There's a lot of questions that have come in about love. A few weeks ago, in your live Sangat that you hold on Sundays, you were talking about love and Rag Suhi. One of the questions from the viewers is, when you're hurting, is it more important to give love to yourself or to others?
First thing is about the love. What is love and how we define it? What is our understanding over love? That
Right.
there are a lot of misconceptions. There's misunderstandings over this word. As I mentioned before, also, if you haven't heard that program, I would like to repeat that we usually say, for example, I love samosa, for example. The consumption of something which gives you temporarily, momentarily pleasure, we use this word love on it. And when I look back into Guru Nanak Sahib, and his definition of love was "Jo to prem khelan ka chao, sir tar tali gali meri aao." And he wants our egos ahead, our existence, whatever we know, to be demolished, and he invites us to come and learn from him what love is. And when I compared both what my understanding and my connection to love is and what Guru Nanak Sahib Ji is telling us, there was a very big imbalance between both. And that leads to the answer of this question also, that very, very, very important thing is, if you don't have it, what can you give? If you don't know what it is, what can you offer? If we are hurting and we cannot give ourselves the love and attention required, or I will say we never loved ourselves because we are hurting, because of our senses, because of imbalance of our drivers, and how we have composed our world. So that leads me back to Guru Nanak Sahib, that he is telling us how to be in love, a systematical approach to become so sacred, united, that body doesn't hate the mind, and the mind doesn't hate the soul, and soul doesn't hate the body, or either of them, and they are living in a harmony and in oneness. And then we will understand what love is. In love, there is a very major, amazing thing is giving. Deda de, lete thak pae. We just take and take, but Creator just gives and gives, because Creator actually is love, who just gives without a condition, without an expectation, without wanting anything in return. And if you can do that first for yourself, you will have an experience and connection how to offer that to your loved ones, how to offer that to your world. So that we don't contradict, so that we don't do drama. So it's not fake. It is very important for us to be in love for ourselves first.
true. If we haven't experienced what love is, we won't know what to do with it. But just if we go with the basic understanding that most people have of what love is, to be caring, to be affectionate, um, how do you manage love and hurt at the same time? So when you're hurting and you've got some sort of pain, how do you respond with love?
Again, it's easy for us to understand these things. Um, if we go back into the history, Jasvir Gaurji, like those who sacrificed their life for a good cause, who gave, they had choice to give in and compromise, but they didn't. But they gave their life because they loved something. They loved what they believed into. If you will ask, like Bhai Mani Singh ji, who was the Jathedar and the head Granthi of Sri Darbar Sahib, Amritsar, which was the central place for Sikhs to go and worship, which you know even nowadays, the Golden Temple. The head priest and also the Jathedar, he also held the political chair of the Sikhs to talk to the government or any social issues, any issues within Sikh community were resolved by this chair, which we call the Jathedar of Sri Akal Takht Sahib. So Bhai Mani Singh ji, who um, was representing Sikhs. Once the Sikhs said they would like to gather at Diwali, and he approached the governor of Punjab, and governor put the condition that we need lakhs of rupees as if you want to hold that place, hold that festival, that's fine. People can come and do their prayer, but we would like to have a tax of 100,000 rupees. And the governor also designed that his army, his police, to be outside of Amritsar to capture those Sikhs who entered the Amritsar, and they found out that this was happening. This is just after Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And the Sikhs found out what happened, and they stayed away. They didn't come to this function. So with condition of the tax was also that if tax is not paid, the consequences are going to be not very pleasant one. So Bhai Mani Singh Ji, Shahid, he was arrested, and the court, Islam according to Sharia, he was sentenced to that because he didn't pay the tax. So every pore of his body will be chopped off. So when it came to the execution of this, Bhai Mani Singh was sitting there, and what we call it Jalad, or the executioner, he was just about to start the job, and he pointed toward the limbs, and Bhai Mani Singh said, "No, that's not the deal. Deal is,
From every
per."
point.
Yeah, so every digit has to be removed. And it makes me think, Jasvir Kaurji, why Sikhs are so much like this, free. They have no fear. Don't they feel the pain? But I think there's overwhelming, once you fell in love, then you fall in love, then there's no way coming out. Because you don't exist anymore. You just offer and give. You just become the candle. You just, all you love to do is becoming a light. And his sacrifice, he could have, they offered him, become Muslim, we will spare you. No tax, nothing. It's not that Islam is a bad thing. It was not about the religion, the practice, or God. It was about the ethics and the freedom. So I'll say that for the freedom of humanity, the love by Mani Singh ji have shown by sacrificing, himself in a very painful way. When I look into him, I see him in love with the concept of life, what he learned, how Guru taught him, what transformation came about. And he's above life and death. We have Tuk in Gurbani, a verse from Gurbani says, Janam Maran Tohu Te Nahi, not in life or death. They're out of these two. Jan Par Upakariya, those who are in love, they who just give and give and give, those people came about. And this defines for me the love. And when you are in love, there can't be two definitions. Yes, I can say Jasvir Kaur is a female, um, but that does not define anything. There can't be two meanings. There's only one meaning, and the meaning of love in the world of spirituality is to be. And Sikhi is all about love. Sikhi is all about the prem. From first Guru to the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, when he says, Jin prem kiyo, tin hi prab payo. If you want to be one with the one, then learn how to be in love. And once you are in love, then there's no question. All the questions disappear. All the fog disappears because you're out of duality.
So, how do you learn to be in love?
Smaller steps. And what you just answered your question also by using the word learn. It is not something um, opens up. It's not just something you wake up one day and you are in love. There is a process. There's acknowledgement. There's understanding. There you need to educate yourself and diagnose your needs and wants, and walk on the path of the freedom. You need to have it locked to offer to the world. You need to carry this grace to become graceful. If you want to give a donation to the world, Jasvir Kaurji, you need to have some money in your pocket or food in your pantry to offer a langar. And same thing I'll say, the heart need to be drenched with the love if you want to offer humanity or this planet your love.
I
Learning is a
understand what
process.
you're saying. Absolutely, learning is a process. But when this type of love that you're talking about, there's not very many examples of it around us. The type of love that we get to see happens in Hollywood movies or Bollywood movies, and that's about it, right? That's what people understand love to be, is like a romantic relationship. But you're talking about something very different. And for somebody who's never even heard of this concept that you're talking about, how would they learn about this sort of a love? How would they connect
Thank
with
you,
it?
thank you so much for bringing this. This will help us with this question of yours. Um, we need to differentiate, as I said, diagnose, learn how to diagnose. Invest into suniye, listening skills. What you said, what we talk about, or what our misconception or misunderstanding over love is attachment. When
Mm,
we get attached to another body, we get attached to our children, we get attached to our parents, and we would like to do anything and everything for them, and we just label that as a love. That is not prem. Yes, there are elements, but that's the magic of attachment. Prem is a free from everything. Prem does not require anything in return. When you offer and you don't look back, you don't wanna have anything, or you just wanna give. And
mm,
you don't, when we give money to a charity, we want our name to be announced at the Gurdwara, or to be published in the book, or the stone need to be carved and placed into the prakarma of Sri Darbar Sahib, Golden Temple. And, then we say that's a donation with the love. We offered this. I think it is attachment and greed to ourselves. We give a £5 of a donation and we want that to be acknowledged. And a similar thing in the relationships. Um, you said in the films, you said in the life, people fall in love, um, and people fall out of love. The problem with attachment is that you can fall out of it, but you can't fall out of love. Once you are in love, you can't. You will give everything. For example, mother.
Mm.
Throughout the living beings, animals or plants, including you can search on Google, find out that I saw a beautiful clip from uh, nature's channel, that there was a crocodile trying to hunt this little baby deer who was trying to cross this river, and a mother came between the baby and the crocodile. What she gave was her life to save the life. That's not possible without love. That is now beyond attachment. So if we can equip ourselves with listening, so we can listen to our drivers: Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. They are drivers. They are Panchadut, and we need to understand them for them to serve us. And listening skill is which is going to equip us to diagnose this. And then, Jasvir Kaurji, listening to our elements, listening to our senses, and becoming sensible, becoming capable. And this is what Guruji is navigating us toward. So once we can diagnose, then we can differentiate what is attachment and what is a love. And then it will be easy. It is actually not very difficult. We made it difficult because now we're trying to understand word from a cultural and a social side, rather than what it truly means.
And what would you say is the difference from what it truly means to what we know it to mean?
What vanishes, the two people in love, one die, another will die a couple of years or a decade after. It is not here forever. But the prem, Guru Nanak Sahib is saying, is forever. It is that oneness is emerging in with the Kartapurkh. So the word love is a very big word. It is a whole bhakti, it is all bandagi, it is being, it is sadhana. It is not relevant in a one domain of life, just mentally or just spiritually or just physically. It has to, when we say love, the four dimensions has to be together: physical, mental, spiritual, and Kartapurkh. And so we need to configure these four, but we try to use super words, amazing words, the sacred words, the word with the kirpa in our daily life, and we try to saturate them and try to adjust them. Like, for example, I would like to say, we want our children to do kirtan or to sing a shabad in love for Kartapurkh. But in this, we're not trying to give in, Jasvir Kaur, what we already know. We try to override what Guru says with our love. If Guru says, Tukhari Mahla Pehla, we don't have time, we don't want to give it our time, we don't want to give our education, we don't want to give our moments, we don't want to study, we don't want to take that step. We just want to show our love, and we want to do it however we want to do it. So uh, one will define it, will say, well, Kirtan, I'm trying to do Kirtan with love. It's our definition, how we define and cut corners, short corners.
Mhm.
And uh, misconception. We create this huge web around us of confusions. Words are there to help us. Words are not the feelings. Words are not emotions. Words are not the what happens in unheard. But what words are a glimpse and of possibilities what can. But the prem is a bhakti. The love is a sacred word and must be used very carefully.
Okay. And what happens to the ego when unconditional love appears and settles?
When you fall in love, and when you fall in love, when you're dipped in Suhi, when you become that, um, all of these things, they are like something happening out there. You watch it, you are there, you see it, but they don't color you anymore. They ego is your driver. Ego is a different thing from love. Love is a process of oneness. Love is a very mega thing. Love is that super theory in one's life. Once it happens, all these little drivers, like once you've written the story and you've gone to the conclusion and you have put the final full stop, then pen is on side. What is the role of pen at that moment? Yes, it helped you to write the story, but Jasvir Kaurji, that is now, after the story is written, it serves no purpose. It was just a tool. So is the ego. But love is amazing process, an amazing outcome. Love is being. The where ego is a software installed us how to become and how do we use that. Yes, first we have to tackle the ego, um, understand the ego and use the ego, not lose it. But we got to use these drivers in our favor so that we can climb this spiritual state of being in love.
Hmm. So, in Sikhi, would you say that it's important, more important to be in that state of love in order to stay connected with the essence of what Sikhi is?
Guru Nanak, according to Guru Nanak Sahib Ji, yes, he starts with, as I will again repeat this, written by Guru Nanak Sahib, Jo to prem khilan ka chao. Prem is a love. If you want to learn this game in this meter of your life, if you want to do this, Sir tar tali gali meri aao, then put your life on your palm and come to me. Mean surrender completely. Don't be here with the ifs and buts. And then we go 239 years after Guru Nanak's time period to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and he says, Jin prem kiyo, sach kaho sun leho sabay, jin prem kiyo, then he prabhayo. This is the ultimate truth. The one who is in love will find the destination, will be one with the one. So if all of my gurus are advocating this, if they're all pointing toward, if all navigating me toward love, then yes, it is Guru Prasad. It is Guru's given technique to, for me, the whole purpose is to be in love with my mind. Man jeete Jagjit. Its mind cannot be one without love, because man tu jot swaroop hai. The mind, you are the form of the Kalpurk. Apna mool pachan. That understand, what you belong to. And these conversations, Jasvir Kaurji, only can happen in love with the mind. Only then we will be able to configure. If Sikh loses its love, have you ever heard a story of Bhai Kanhaiya Ji? Bhai Kanhaiya Ji, who started the Red Cross. If you understand Red Cross, helping
Mhm.
people in a need, it is actually the very first encounter ever happened. It was Bhai Kanhaiya Ji. There was a war going on at Anandpur Sahib, And
We might have to
six
save
words.
Paikinaji's Saki for next episode because we're just running up to the end of the show. I want to
Okay, so
thank you.
tune in for the Saki for the next
Yes,
episode.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Yogiji, for teaching us more
Thank you.
about what love is. And I hope that we can all try to connect with some of the new information that we've learned today and practice that at home, practice that within yourself so that love becomes a part of who you are as a being, not just something that pops up in moments of your life. Thank you,
Indeed.
Yogiji, for these amazing words of wisdom. And I look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thank you. Sat Karta.